HEMA patrons. Today we will give a look to the 133 drill which I have posted 2 weeks ago, if I am correct. And we will see the action contained in this drill, and I will explain also some variation of this kind of actions. Okay, let's start instantly. The first action that we will see starts after the first blow of the drill, which is a mandritto, and it is only there because it is the second word is a word of the 153. But our action starts from the mezzano, the mittelau, which starts from underarm. Now, this action is quite complex in some ways, because we start from our underarm, and whatever attacks come to us, we can deflect it by using our falso, our full sedge mittelau. Now, after we have done this, we instantly we transition to the quarta custodia over our head, and from quarta custodia we can strike both mandritti, right overall and left overall, reverso. Now we decide for the reverso attack from the left one because it is more easier from our perspective, and it follows the kinetic motion of our action. Now we strike instantly to the opponent arm. Of course the opponent can parry, but we strike because we don't know if the opponent parry or not. So we strike our first blow to the right hand. If we hit the opponent, it's okay. If the opponent parry, we have a follow-up that we see after the simple action. The follow-up is can be two kind of very simple action. The first one is the thrust that comes from our quinta custodia quadrant, and is a thrust that comes from below. And we thrust also to the hands, because if the opponent parry the hands from above, it is hard for the opponent to parry instantly the hands from below. So we strike our blow and we instantly thrust to the opponent's hands. The second option, it is lower, but it's easier, because almost every kind of cutting action is easier than a thrusting one. And the second action is we of course parry the opponent attack, whatever it is. We strike to the opponent's hands, then we reach our quinta custodia, and by moving on the side we strike mandritto attack, unterau, from with the true edge. Okay, let's see. Second action starts from the quinta custodia that we already used in the first action. Now we start from quinta custodia, and our opponent for this particular situation is in archit. We strike a thrust, but our thrust is only a tactical feint or a provocation. So we don't enter in measure, we don't want to hit our opponent, we just want to provoke a reaction. Now we provoke the reaction of the opponent, which instantly goes to parry this thrust, because he don't know if the thrust is true or not. The opponent instantly, as I said, parry the thrust in a standard fashion that we see a lot of times in 143. And as I am not in measure, he tries to reach me by using a step. I, for do a shield strike, of course, I use my counter shield strike, and I strike before my shield strike before the opponent do his one, and I hit with, there is two options here, a false edge Sturzau to the head, or a true edge Mittelau or Mezzano from with the true edge, with the true edge from the left side. Now, after we have done this, particularly if we use our Mittelau, we reach our sesta custodia. Now, from here, we can also add a happy thrust to the opponent head or to the opponent head's ends, depending on what target it is more easier to reach for you. So, again, we provoke the opponent reaction by thrusting a feint from Quinta Custodia. We feel that the opponent is parrying. We instantly go for our counter shield strike because we see the opponent moving toward us. We strike our Mittelau, we thrust from Sesta Custodia. And that's the second action. Okay, let's see the actual action. The third action is the last one. It is also probably the more easier to execute. But it is important to say that it can be executed in two different ways. Now, the first action starts from the sesta custodia, which again we have used as last word in the previous action. We start by again thrusting, we use a feint again, feinted thrust. And this time we use our feint on our right side, so on the left side of the opponent half shield. We thrust our feint, and now we have two options. We feel that the opponent is parrying, and then we do our cavazione, which is lower, but in some ways give us feedback, so we can really understand what is happening. The second option is a cavazione in tempo, which is slightly different. We thrust our feint, and even before the opponent parry reach our weapon, we instantly go for the second thrust. Now, between the feint and the thrust, we, as I said, we start from our cesta, we thrust, and we transition in Langot. Now, of course, Langot is just a step in the middle of the action, so we don't have to reach the word in a super clean way, because it is important by a technical perspective, a tactical perspective, to reach this kind of position under the opponent's hands. Okay, let's see the third action. so we have seen all the free action contained in my drill. Now, my idea behind these actions is that they are part of the common fencing that we can't see in the manual because it is not contained, or at least just part of common fencing is contained in the 153 manual. I hope this video will help you, and I hope that you will like it. Of course, if you have your feedback, just share it under this video in the comments. Again, thanks for your support, and thanks for whatever you do for me, because it is really helpful. And again, thanks for watching. See you next time.